Okay, welcome back. I hope you're refreshed and ready to go. We're going to move now into the second session where we're going to put the emphasis on understanding the business case for geospatial infrastructure. So crucially, making the financial justification typically to governments for building geospatial infrastructure. In this session, we've got 3 speakers, and it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, and that's Simone Lloyd. Simone is from the Jamaican Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and she works in the National Spatial Data Management Division. And today, Simone is going to share with us their experience in Jamaica of driving efficiency, growth, and cost savings across the Jamaican government through geospatial infrastructure, and underpinning that with a government-wide enterprise agreement with Esri. So please, Ran, if we can run the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. A big thank you to Esri for extending this invitation to Jamaica to deliver a presentation during your National Government Executive Forum. We are very appreciative of the invitation extended and are hereby sharing our experience with regards to how it is that as a government, Jamaica has been actively working towards greater efficiency, growth, and cost savings through an enterprise license agreement. My name is Simone Lloyd, Senior GIS Manager and Trainer for the National Spatial Data Management Branch within Jamaica's Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and we are the Secretariat for Jamaica's Land Information Council of Jamaica. So during this presentation, we'll be getting an overview of GIS in Jamaica, background and history, our National GIS Vision and Mission, the Enterprise License Agreement, why did we get involved in such? Why did we sign to such? The results of a survey that looked at a cost-benefit analysis of the ELA, the RGS Online platform in terms of the subscription that Jamaica has, benefits of the ELA, what are the challenges we've experienced, the achievement of Jamaica, and our future. So Jamaica's government has a Jamaica Vision 2030 National Development Plan, which envisions Jamaica being prosperous and being the ideal place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. And with this, the whole integration and utilization of geospatial technologies in all areas of development, and in so doing, enabling us to become more knowledge-based, technologically enabled, and empowered as a society towards achieving this vision. Pivotal to this is National Outcome 11, which speaks to making available and accessible geospatial data, products, and services to all users to facilitate planning, sustainable use of and management and development of the island's resources. So that's our Vision 2030 National Development Plan. The Land Information Council of Jamaica was established back in 1992 by the founder. It was a vision of the founder and original chair, Mrs. Jacqueline Da Costa. And with the council was established to coordinate the development of a network of government agencies and other stakeholders, as well as to serve as a policy and technical focal point for geographic information systems development. The NSDMB forms the secretariat for this body, which looks at policy development, training and education, GIS use, across government, etc., etc., etc. So at the end of the day, our vision is to ensure that geospatial data products and services are current, they're available, they're accessible, and they assist with regards to sustainable development and economic growth. In so doing, we have to coordinate the development and implementation of a national network GIS system, which is inclusive of comprehensive and accurate spatial data. All right, to drive the whole policy development, institutional arrangements, legislation, etc. Now, prior to the ELA, yes, Jamaica was using geospatial resources from Esri, ArcGIS ArcGIS's platform. However, it was limited. We used a lot of desktop resources. However, many were not current for some organizations. Limited extent in terms of use of ArcPad, much more limited, sometimes non-existent for many organizations in terms of ArcGIS Online. Maintenance was in arrears for some organizations. Additional licenses were needed, and this was overwhelming. Yes, there was savings earned by some entities. 50% of the entities spoke about sale of new and existing geospatial products and services. So hurdles were there that we had to get over, humps that we had to jump over. And so with that, the whole method of payment was haphazard. Multi-agencies had their individual GIS licenses. Many licenses were purchased on the projects, and with projects ending, there were no longer the access to these resources, which proved a challenge, neither the technical support to the users. And so an enterprise license agreement was examined, and it was examined through discussions with Mrs. Jacqueline Da Costa and Mr. Danjaman with regards to signing such an agreement that Jamaica could benefit from. With this, having a comprehensive enterprise approach and a national system, reducing the costs and increasing efficiencies among the government, and having access to a wide array and variety of geospatial products, some in unlimited quantities from Esri. So provision or access to an approved listing of these products and services, training that was determined on an annual basis, provision of training and resources for GIS in Schools Education Program, which then facilitated an enterprise license agreement for schools program to support that, and having a Government of Jamaica subscription for the ArcGIS Online platform. So training was provided in core desktop ArcGIS Online, apps, enterprise geodatabase, and server areas. And with this, we wanted to see how much the government really benefited. What was the cost? What was the benefit of the cost that was actually paid with regards to accessing these resources? So a survey 123 form was developed and administered among the ALA organizations and by the council, and in so doing, these were the results. Many of the respondents were corporations, national entities with regards to water, works, land management, environment, development, etc. So the areas of focus varied, with development being prime, planning also being prime, and various types of resources. With that, the deployments of resources under the ELA were primarily desktop, and with desktop, the associated extensions, spatial analysis being prime. But then we saw a serious uptake in terms of ArcGIS Online resources, in terms of accounts that had to be generated and associated licenses. GIS users also increased significantly, from many entities only having 1 or 2 or less than 7 persons to a significant increase in many having upwards of 60 users, some having 240 to 300 users, which never happened before. Many of which we had core users, GIS users, but some organizations had a lot more users who were not GIS persons but were now doing GIS work, being facilitated by the resources provided under the ELA. So many projects were just not possible before. Yes, a few were possible, but double to triple the amount of projects were now possible. A lot in relation to development. Significant in terms of cost savings, upwards of up to 26 million, some over 100 million in terms of income generation, different from some having cost savings, and some so one indicated 63%. Then came the whole deliverables and products. So we can see that improved efficiency was prime. Then came the whole use of the technology and the information to inform policy development, cost savings, income generation, government directive, public sector partnerships. The ArcGIS Online platform was also key. 2,370 members with over 10,000 hosted services. And these services varied from maps and layers, scenes, apps, tools, files, and notebooks. So many achievements. by core government entities, as can be seen here, many of whom have been awarded special achievement in GIS awards by Esri, given the work that they've been able to do since the Enterprise License Agreement. So, generation maintenance of current geospatial data metadata was prime. Access to high resolution imagery, using GIS technology in daily operations, bringing together the various entities using GIS technology across government, sharing of data across government, significant training being facilitated, additional licenses for editing and improved businesses, all of that. We, however, experienced some challenges, and the challenges have informed our negotiations with Esri and also Spatial Innovation Limited, Esri's Caribbean distributor. So infrastructure challenges with some of the institutions, which have not allowed them to be able to really maximize on what's being provided under the ELA, low buy-in by some based on limited financial resources, restrictions in terms of initial listing of resources that were assigned, but new ones that came up after that, which were not made accessible, limited access to third-party resources, communication issues at times, coordination issues between the regional and international vendor were also prime in terms of challenges that we've had to resolve. So where are we at now? Last year, at the America Symposium 2019 in Mexico City, given the survey which was conducted by Geospatial Media and Communications, they found that Jamaica ranked 9th out of 55 countries within North, South, Latin America, and the Caribbean region. Jamaica was the only Caribbean country in the top 25 countries that were assessed. So this is a major achievement for us, and we are proud of that. But are we where we want to be? Definitely no. We have made significant progress in the region. We're considered the country in the Caribbean which leads in the English-speaking Caribbean with regards to GIS development and implementation and use. However, we want to ensure that we're able to see a reduction in crime, increased business applications, improved COVID-19 response, sustainable economic development and growth, all through the use of geospatial applications. So with the new enterprise agreement that we're still in negotiations for and are hoping to conclude soon and have a new enterprise agreement, this will assist us to get to our goal. And we are of that firm belief. And so we thank you. We thank you, Esri, and we thank you, Spatial Innovation Limited, for all your support over the past 5 years of the enterprise agreement and its extension. We look for continued partnership and relations and strengthening of such as we continue to strive for greater efficiency, growth, and cost savings as a Jamaican government through a GIS Enterprise License Agreement. I thank you.
And many thanks to you, Simone. That was a great presentation, and many congratulations also on what you've achieved in Jamaica. I'm just checking the chat window for questions. Simone, if you want to join me at the virtual high table, if you want to switch your video on. Hopefully you can hear me, Simone.
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
Great. If you want to switch on your video as well, Simone, you're welcome to join me. I don't see any questions just at the moment, so maybe, Simone, I can ask you a question. You rightly identified some of the challenges around the enterprise agreement itself. From what I heard, I can imagine the bigger challenges presumably were around how you collaborated with all your partners across government to get agreement to a government-wide enterprise agreement and buy into a national GIS strategy. Could you expand a little bit on how you managed to achieve that?
Okay, so that was really through collaboration, engaging the government entities. I'm not sure if you're seeing my webcam.
No, not yet, but we can hear you loud and clear, Simone. That's fine.
Okay. Yes. So I was saying that that's really through collaboration. The fact that we have Land Information Council of Jamaica, which has been established. It's almost approaching 30 years in terms of existence. And so there is that foundation. So given that foundation, it has helped to facilitate collaboration and coordination among these entities, looking at their needs, where they've been, where they are now, and what are their needs really in terms of getting to the next level with the use of geospatial information and resources, and how it is that through this collaborative effort, we can assist them in getting them to where they need to be through finding out where they are and what their needs are and being able to plan accordingly based on that.
Great. And we can now see you, Simone, so even better. Couple of questions coming in here, Simone. Does Jamaica have a central repository for the GIS data collected by the different government agencies?
So the National Spatial Data Management Branch acts as a central repository for Government of Jamaica's data. Data is not as current as we would like it to be, but we try to ensure that as many agencies as possible facilitate provision of their data in this repository. It has helped in times when sometimes it's a case whereby organizations have a challenge and they're not able to access their own data. They come to us in terms of being able to facilitate access to whatever was previously shared. Apart from that, we encourage sharing of data among government agencies. And so with that, we do reach out to the custodians of the data sets whenever there's a request for government purposes, also for academia purposes. We facilitate sharing once it's a case whereby the custodian agency has given that clearance.
Okay. Some appreciation for your presentation here, Simone, you'll be pleased to hear.
Thank you.
What are the main leadership challenges regarding the adoption of geospatial technology in the public sector across Jamaica?
Okay, one of the main leadership challenges would speak to buy-in to some extent. Buy-in has been significant given the work of the council over the many years, almost 3 decades. But apart from that, there is still some issue with regards to the whole buy-in. Given the fact that we are a developing country, of course, resources at times, in particular financial resources, does pose a challenge. And so when an agency has to look at, okay, how it is that they're going to be using the financial resources that they have, which tends to be limited in some cases, they look at, okay, where is it that they'll be able to, what are the actual needs? What do they need to meet in terms of actual payments? And with that, sometimes the whole focus on geospatial information and resources and how that can get them to the next level is seen not as a core priority. It is more on the back end. So given this enterprise license agreement and the whole sharing of the cost of it across government has helped significantly to help agencies who normally would not have all of that access to resources, or maybe don't, because we're actually sharing it across government to facilitate the provision of these resources to all government agencies that are in need, to help them to be able to execute their mandate using geospatial information, getting them to where they need to be in terms of the next levels.
Okay.
So buy-in has been a challenge to some extent, and the access to resources in terms of financial resources.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's a question here around the data policy in Jamaica and how that's affecting sharing amongst central government. So could you sort of expand on the data policy in Jamaica?
All right. So in response to that, the open data policy speaks to geospatial information and the sharing of that and making that accessible among government, but also to private sector and also citizenry. But apart from that, we've been actively working on a national geospatial information management policy. So a first draft of that was done. We're in the process of revising that, and a major focus this year is with regards to finalizing that policy and getting us to the next level.
Okay.
Given the existence, though, I could add, of the council and the collaboration and the relations that have been established over the years, it has helped us significantly to enable the sharing of data amongst government agencies, and depending on what the need is, that has been facilitated significantly given the existence of the council and the networking that has been facilitated and those established relationships.
Yeah, very good. Simone, one of your slides, you showed a very impressive figure for the cost benefit analysis or the cost savings you did. I think it was a figure of 63%, something like that. Can you give us a little background to the process and the methodology you used for that cost benefit?
Okay, so that figure was specifically provided by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. So they were looking at what it would cost to execute a census normally, and the fact that with the implementation of the resources under the ELA, they were able to see 63% reduction in cost, given the use of ArcGIS Online, the various apps in terms of being able to do the data capture in the field and the processing of that and the sharing of that as needed. So actually that one figure was given the realization of one of our organizations in terms of implementation of the resources under the ELA to assist with census mapping.
Census mapping, yeah, very impressive. Well, again, many thanks, Simone, for your presentation. Really appreciate that, and thanks for taking some questions. Time is against us, so we'll move on.
Most welcome.
And thank you very much, Simone.